night's program of Oderings Homes and Gardens. Tonight we're going to look at the house that Jutta and Thomas built, hand-built out of handmade bricks. We're also going to talk vegetables. We're going to look at a very small, compact vegetable garden, and Bob Crowd is going to talk about how to protect your vegetable garden during the winter. But first up, plant of the week. If you want to get a great display in the spring, now's the time to plant your polyanthus. Autumn time is the season for removing spent summer flowering annuals and cleaning up. It's also the best time for planting winter and early spring flowering bedding plants. Tonight we focus on the ever-popular springtime show-off, the polyanthus. Plants in packs or boxes can be planted out now, in beds and borders, and will flower in early spring. While the larger individual plants in flower, if planted now in a warm sheltered position, will flower during the winter. Plant your pollies in good rich soil and don't allow them to become dry. Remove the spent flower heads so that they'll continue flowering. If you decide to wait and plant your polyanthus in the late winter or spring, then plant them in a semi-shaded position, about 30 centimetres apart. Marjorie Morse was the first woman to graduate in horticulture from Lincoln. She also has one of the most compact and tense little vegetable gardens I've ever seen, and we were there on one of the hot days in this summer. Now you managed to fit in a tremendous amount into a tiny area here. What's the secret of its success?
Well, in first place you have to feed your soil well. You've got to know how tall everything's going to grow, how to place them, how to space them, and the time they're going to take. And there's always something waiting in the wings to follow on. So I don't grow things that are going to take a long, long time. I don't grow main crop onions because they are, at the time when they are ripening, you're not supposed to water them. So it's no good. I've got to water the garden, so I just buy those. And main crop potatoes, we don't grow main crop potatoes, just a few earlies.
So that'd be about the only things you don't grow?
There'll be a few things that I don't like very much that I don't grow.
I can understand that.
so being sort of in charge of the vegetable garden and also the cook, you can grow what you want to grow for the kitchen.
Certainly. Now let's look at the way you've structured the garden, the way you've set it out. It seems like on the slope like this, it's lying to the sun beautifully.
It's lying northwest, and our worst wind is the nor'wester. And being on the slope, it dries out a lot, and it's all sitting on clay. So with the clay soil, once the water gets down, it just seems to run right off, so we have to water a little and often. Over the years, we've been here 17 years, we've built up from about a 4-inch topsoil, and I can now double dig it. And it's with taking away a little bit of clay and building it up with straw and animal manure, anything, and we put it all through the compost.
Now your husband's obviously constructed all these beautiful little walls and paths.
He has.
What function do they play?
Easy access for wheelbarrows, to walk. I'm a fast mover, so I don't want too many obstructions. Otherwise, you're liable to fall over and break something. So, and also with a 6 foot, about 6 feet, or 2 metre beds, our cloches will all fit into this area. So when the weather starts to get cold and things like lettuces, we bring out the cloches and keep them going. So we have, in fact, an all year round garden. We do spray. I'm not a purist at all. We spray, and I think the thing with spraying is you need to know what you're spraying for, and watch for symptoms, like the strawberries get red spider. And once the leaves start to get that russety look, you'll look underneath and there'll be red spider, and one spray will fix it, usually, or two.
Okay. Now, is this the first or the second crop?
A second, really. They hardly stopped.
They're magnificent.
And
they smell wonderful too.
Up until Christmas, they are always covered for the birds. But come Christmas, covers off, the birds don't go near them.
It's amazing.
The birds are still about, but for some reason or other, they don't eat strawberries.
Maybe they're tastier before Christmas.
Perhaps they are. No, I think they're tastier now, or to the human taste.
Now let's look at what you've got in the garden at the moment, because you seem to have all sorts of things at various stages.
Well, these are broccoli plants waiting to get planted, waiting for a place to go. There's something's got to come out before they go in. Main crop carrots, there's 3 different varieties.
And next along?
Next along is red beet, or beetroot. there's always red beet in our family for some reason or other, and people say, well, you mean beetroot? And I said, no, I mean red beet. So the silver beet and red beet and sugar beet.
And they're little onions or chives?
But they are a very bad strike of spring onions. And then next again there's 2 stages of lettuces. Next parsnips, and then some rather tired looking cabbages in the hot sun.
They've probably just been planted out, have they?
Last Sunday, yeah. Yeah, so I had to put a cover back on them tonight, perhaps.
And then tucked at the end you've got tomatoes there and tomatoes here behind us.
The one on the bank is a hardy cross, a very early, heavy cropping dwarf tomato.
Now, of course, your greenhouse that I can see from here is just packed with tomatoes.
Yes, just 2 plants there, two grafted plants, and each one's got 4 and one's got 5 or 6 stems, and they've outkept us in tomatoes for a long time. I'm giving them away now. It's more than we can eat.
Now, you're obviously living off the front part of the garden at the moment. What have you got that you're eating right now?
Celery, carrots, beans nearly. It's the latest I've ever had beans. And next week we'll be eating broccoli.
So you're building up your soil constantly with the compost. With anything else?
Foul manure. We use a bit of foul manure in the compost. I don't put foul manure straight on the ground. It's the easiest to just put it through. And
any artificial fertilisers?
Not in the compost. But I use nitrofosca, yeah, on here, and a bit of foliar feeding if I think I want a bit of a hurry up. Phosphorus, or I bought one of those phosphorus applicators, and it gets on very quickly. So
and how much of your time does this take?
Well, it's my main hobby. I mean, it's what I like doing.
Kurfürstendamm is the main drag in Berlin, so where's it leading to here in Banks Peninsula? For Thomas and Jutta, it's brought them a new, self-sufficient way of life.
I came here on a holiday about 12 years ago, and I just fell in love with the place. I thought the people were really friendly, and the land was cheap, and it was so natural and green. So I went back to Thomas in Germany and told him all about it, so we decided to come over here.
Had you always wanted to live on the land?
Yes. Yeah, that was one big point, to live as self-sufficient as possible. We had really grand ideas, so yeah.
Why did you choose this area?
It's a wee bit like the Black Forest, except it hasn't got enough trees, but we're working on that one. It's hilly, and it's a sea nearby, and Christchurch isn't that far away, so everything's handy. And the land was cheap, and it was great.
Now, the house, a lot of people say, is a really traditional German house. Do you think it is?
Well, we didn't think so, no. Well, we thought, well, the roof line, the steep roof line, that was German, and the upstairs, having an upstairs. But otherwise, apart from that, we thought we introduced a lot of New Zealand patterns into it as well. So.
Now, I gather the neighbours around here have been pretty amazed at the energy you've put into it, because you've made everything yourself.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a lot more fun. You know, doing it all yourself, you can be a lot more proud of it.
How did you come to build the house? How did you build it?
Well, we started off making little models on the fireside over 2 winters, getting really frustrated with that. And then once we decided what we wanted, we went and got a lot of books and material, and collected second-hand materials, and started to saw the trees, had the trees logged and had them sawn into timber, and did the mud bricks over 2 summers, and just sort of did it bit by bit. Yeah.
Why did you decide on mud bricks?
Well, first we liked bricks, and then it's a bit cheaper, and it doesn't use up that much wood. You know, we liked the wood, but we didn't really want to fell too many trees. You know.
So what's the process in making the mud bricks?
You mix up 9 parts of mud or clay with 1 part of cement, and you just mix it up really thoroughly, make it a wee bit wet, put it in a mud brick press, and then just pull down the big lever, and out comes a ready-made brick. And you very carefully put it aside, wet it again, and let it cure for 3 weeks in the shade. And then they're really hard, and then you can start laying the bricks.
How many would you have made in a day?
About 180.
And how long did it take you to make enough for the house?
Well, we made 8,000, but we've got 2,000 left over. So, and the garage took 2,000, and that one here took about 5,000. So,
So
Yeah.
how did you know what to do?
Books and asking around with other people. There's quite a few people who've got mud brick homes in Canterbury, so we just searched them out and came for a visit. And that's how we did it. Got a lot of advice from them. Yeah.
I understand you made the garage first. Why was that?
That was a trial run, just to see if, well, it was mainly for Thomas, but he did most of the building, so if he could cope with it, if he could do it. So that was his trial piece.
What was the reaction of a lot of the local authorities to you building a mud brick house?
Oh, they were quite favourable. They were a bit baffled first, but we passed them on the information we had, and so they were quite happy about it. Yeah. As long we had to have a building engineer calculation for the house. Yeah. So it was secure for earthquakes and wind risk and things like that.
Tell me about the construction of the house. How does it all hang together? You think of mud bricks as being a sort of a precarious at range. Do they come to pieces?
No, they don't come to pieces that easy. It's a post and beam construction. In the corridor we have steel rods which are actually holding the whole house together. Every so many metres you have a post. So the whole upstairs on all the walls are sitting on the wooden beams, not on the mud bricks. The mud bricks are just filling the gaps.
But downstairs the mud bricks are double, I gather.
Yeah, there's double brick wall with an air gap in between for the insulation. And it's really marvellous in winter. I don't light the fire before 5 o'clock, no matter if it had sort of rained for a whole week and it's really grotty and cold. It's just warm, it holds the warmth. And in summer it's really cool.
So the kitchen is sort of the hub of any farmhouse, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And the macra carpet looks beautiful.
Well, those bench tops are actually white pine. They came out of the old laboratory, and they were painted black, so we just stripped them down and put them up as bench tops. It's just the big beams, they are microcarpus.
So is most of the wood in the house either off the land or recycled?
It's correct, yeah. We didn't buy any new wood, really. So.
And you've utilised lots of bits and pieces like an old workbench there, I see.
That's right, and an old marble top from a dresser. Yeah. So.
They look good. Now tell me about the mud brick construction. How was this area here constructed?
Well, you had to have every so many metres, you had to have those big posts and beams in. So it's a big post beam construction, but all the weight lays on that. And then you just filled up the gaps with the mud brick.
Are the mud bricks heavy?
They are fairly heavy, it's about £7 a brick. So, yeah, you get quite muscly after a while.
And are there any sort of tricks of laying them?
Yes, they had to be soaked in water. They had to be fairly wet because they are hygroscopic, if you could call them that. If you lay them on the mortar dry, they just take out all the moisture out of the mortar and make the mortar really brittle. So it's a bit labour intensive. It takes a lot longer to lay a mud brick than an ordinary glazed brick.
Now the framing around the windows, is that structural or is that just decorative?
No, it's structural. It had to be there because, I mean, there's a lot of weight from the bricks on top of the window, so it had to be there for support.
And did you lay all the bricks yourself? Was it a labour of love?
No. We got a whole gang of brickies in who did the laying. Thomas only did all the bricklaying up in the garage, and after that he had enough, and he said some professionals should have to do the house because that would have taken him years to do.
Yeah. And do you think you'll ever build another house like this?
No, we don't think so. In particular, Thomas, he wanted to build this house and no other, and he wanted to make it that way so that he wouldn't have to alter anything on it or renovate when he's 60. And we just like the thought of, we want to live here and die here, and we want to have the next generations of us doing the same thing.
Do you think the next generations feel the same?
Hopefully. They might not be right at the start, but they come back to their roots, hopefully. So.
Is having a home like that very much a European concept, do you think, as compared to a New Zealand concept?
Yeah, it's very, very important to have a piece of land, to be there. It doesn't really matter where the piece of land is, but you belong to the land, not the land to you. And therefore it's not yours to sell, or it's yours to give away or pass on. And that's the way you handle it.
For most of us, and I include me in that, the vegetable garden's not particularly prolific during the winter. Now this following item we filmed in the depths of last winter, and if this autumn's anything to go by, you're going to have to protect your vegetable garden again this year. Bob Crowder shows you how to protect your vegetables and the garden to get the best out of it right through till the spring.
Right, well here we are in a simple plastic tunnel house, and this takes us from the cold, blustery mid-August day into the summer. And as a result of that, we can still pick a really nice salad in here. This is a bit of nice fennel that we can use. And then here is the remnants of celery that we planted last autumn, and we can break a few of these off. Doing very well. And then up here, the tunnel house is particularly valuable for lettuce. And here we have some really nice lettuce. And because it's getting very late in the season now, getting very close to the end of winter, we haven't got very many lettuce. So there's nothing wrong with just picking the odd leaf, just to garnish the salad nicely. And the rest will stop there and continue to make new leaves. And then this one here, which a lot of you won't be familiar with, is one called rucola or rocket. And this has a beautiful, beautiful flavour, I think, and it makes a really nice spring green in the salad. Very healthy, almost like a watercress with a bit of bitterness in it. And again, grows at very low temperatures. Okay, and then here we also have a few radish. They grow very well at relatively low temperatures as well. And over on this side, you can see the first of the spring carrot crop coming through. It's been in for quite some time, and it's just starting to come away now. And those will produce some really nice carrots in about another month or 6 weeks. And in between those, more radish and salad onions and spinach. All these vegetables grow very well at relatively low temperatures. Well, not everybody now can have a beautiful tunnel house like this to spend their bad cold days of winter in. There are easier ways for the person with the small garden to take advantage of some of this protection. This is probably the simplest, and this is a kind of an environmental mesh which is made of a plastic, and you can it's so light that you can actually lay it straight down on your young vegetables. Here we're looking at lettuce, you can see, and we can simply just lie this over the top. Now outside, of course, you have to make sure that it's pegged down with or a bit of soil around the edge just to keep it in place. But it's so light that the lettuce will just push up against it and will lift the mesh up. And as it lifts up, so these threads will open, and you'll get more and more air going backwards and forwards to keep the environment pleasant for the lettuce. Now something a little bit more elaborate than that is the situation we've got here. Here we have the cloche. And once again, in this case, it's the number 8 wire that is doing the job for us. This represents the leg, quite a big area of leg, up to this kink here, which is used to tie the string around. And then we go right across the top of the hoop, and another little dip here, which is basically for aeration. We lift the plastic up and it fits down into that little slot there. Round here, another kink to put the other end of the string so that it does in fact hold it very strongly against wind. And you don't want it to go bowling away, though in a garden you should have more shelter than we've got out here. You just push those in like that, and you end up with this kind of tunnel structure here. And we've just put the environmental mesh on top here, but you could have a piece of clear plastic on here just as easily, and that will give you even better protection and better light. And you'll notice that the reason we have these little V's in the hoop here, and you can see it over here, is so that when we want to ventilate, if we have a clear piece of plastic on here, we can simply lift the sheet up and put it into the crease here, and it will in fact allow air to go through. And then we have on this side, we have the dip on that side, and then on this one again, we would pull this one up like that. So on a hot day, you can go along and you can get the ventilation all the way through, or if you want to water with a hose, you can go along and gain pretty good access. The other thing that you'll notice in this tunnel house is again the flowers, and the fact that things are not so tidy as many as you people would like to see them. And this again is intentional, just like in the open. We leave a lot of plants growing in here in order to enhance the nectar flow and to provide the overwintering sites for all the parasites and predators that are going to control the aphids and the white fly and the caterpillars that are going to come into the environment during the summer. Remember that if you haven't got some habitat for them over the winter, for them to hibernate, then you're going to have a very low predator-parasite load when it comes to the spring. And so these are here to offer a little bit of nurturing so that we will have a good environment to start the new season's growth.
Well, what a difference between winter and summer vegetables. That's our program for tonight. We'll be back next week with more stories of people, places and plants around Canterbury. And you can sit back and enjoy the rest of the evening while I'll enjoy my coffee here at Oderings. Good night and good gardening.